My name is Merlin Hellman, Southeast Iowa Community Foundation.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to ICOF Peer Learning Call. This is Terry McCann-Botel, President of the Iowa Council of Foundations. Today's call is part of our year-long quarterly learning series. These calls feature colleagues who would like to share their experiences with you on the quarter's topics. A full listing of our topics for the year, as well as recordings from past calls, can be found by logging into the Iowa Council of Foundations website and searching under the Community Foundations tab, and the link is titled CF Link to get to those recordings. For today's topic, we will hear from several colleagues sharing examples of successful grant proposals and projects that have been funded through Iowa Council of Foundations Idea Implementation Grant and our Capacity Building Grants program. Just a reminder, these grants are available for Iowa Community Foundations specifically. We hope that what you hear may spark an idea for you to submit an application for grant funding this year. Before I turn it over to our speakers, I'd like to provide a reminder about these two grant programs, and a reminder that those are, again, available to community foundations and their affiliates. The first is the Capacity Building Grant Program, which started several years ago as a way to provide grant funding to programs that were building up the capacity of community foundations around the state. Initially, it began as a program to support only staffing capacity, but in the most recent past has expanded to support all areas of capacity building for an organization. We now offer 2 rounds of grants for this program in the spring and the fall. We are currently receiving pre-applications for the spring cycle now through March 16th, with the full applications being due in April 30th. I would highly encourage you to consider applying for funding through this program for any capacity building type work you are planning to embark on this year. The pre-application is a simple step and available online through the ICOF website, along with additional information about the program. I would like to note that this program does require a 50% matching contribution. You can view the full guidelines and grant detail on the Iowa Council of Foundations website. The second program you will hear about today is the Idea Implementation Grant Program. This grant offering is available to those community foundations and affiliates that have at least 2 people attend the annual Connect Community Foundations Conference in the fall. This program allows conference participants to seek grant funding for an idea of a project or program they generated while attending a Connect session. Grants typically range from $250 to $1,000 and are designed to enhance the foundation's efforts to implement an idea cultivated, developed, or re-energized at Connect. The simple applications are available the day of Connect and are typically due within a month of the conference. So let's get started in hearing from our speakers. A reminder, as a courtesy, if you could please mute your phones during the call unless you are speaking, and then unmute if you have any questions to ask or add to the discussion at the end of the call. That would be great. If you do have questions, if you could please identify yourself and your community foundation, that would be helpful. Today we will have 4 speakers share information and then open the call for participants to ask questions or add to the discussion at the end. The 4 colleagues we have with us today are Kay England, CEO of the Community Foundation of Northeast Iowa, Jenna Manders, the Knowledge Management Director at the Community Foundation of Greater Dubuque, Mary Freiborg, President of the Okoboji Community Foundation, an affiliate of the Community Foundation of Greater Des Moines, and Sunny Swarbrick, Executive Director of the Story County Community Foundation, an affiliate of the Community Foundation of Greater Des Moines. And with that, I will go ahead and turn the call over to Kay England with the Community Foundation of Northeast Iowa to get us started. Kay?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to share a little bit about our capacity grant. So we're just really, first of all, we're very grateful that ICOF continues to support and encourage our efforts as we build capacity as a regional community foundation. In 2017, ICOF provided funding for our foundation to grow our affiliate volunteer endowment building resources to empower our volunteers to raise awareness and charitable support in our local community foundations. And so this year our application was building from some of those initial efforts to do that. So this year, we submitted a proposal to enable our foundation to implement a comprehensive charitable planned giving communications and cultivation plan throughout our 20-county region. And that's really aligning with one of our strategic goals, which is to increase our community impact by growing and preserving our endowed assets. And so first of all, before I start giving a little bit more detail about our project, I really want to give a shout out to all the staff that have helped here put together both the grant application and being successful in achieving that goal, but then also now the important and hard work of moving forward with providing that leadership and implementing that capacity grant across our 20-county area. So just looking a little bit at our project, really the challenge that we talked about throughout our application was really the organizational challenge of capturing some of the dollars that we look at through the transfer of wealth data, which I know all of our community foundations have been looking at. And really looking at it from that opportunity standpoint, how can we be a part of some of the important charitable transfers that are going to happen throughout our region over the next 5 years, 10 years, and going forward. And one thing that we felt like that we really needed to strengthen across our region is that ability to capture some of those planned gifts. So looking at how we can help both our staff and our volunteers look at those opportunities. And so to accomplish that goal, we looked at, and we are in the process of reviewing both the commitments that we have in planned gifts currently as a community foundation, how we can strengthen our understanding of what potentially donors might want to accomplish at their death, so getting memorandums of understanding in place if people don't have existing funds established, et cetera. And then probably as important to that is looking at what resources and tools we have available on our website or even hard copy materials that really do give donors and potential donors that opportunity to learn what might be a possibility for them in looking at a planned gift. And so one of the big things that we have done, and we're just about ready to go live with, is we have purchased the tool through Crescendo, which I know some other community foundations here in Iowa utilize, which is basically a back office planned giving resource for everybody who visits the website of any of the community foundations that are connected with the Community Foundation of Northeast Iowa. So even our affiliates then, as you would go to an affiliate website, let's say you go to the Winnesheet Community Foundation website, and you click on planned giving, you would be led to all of the new resources that'll share opportunities for people to give through a community foundation. As I mentioned, that's not quite ready to go live, but it's really close. And then also, along with Crescendo, it gives us the purchasing power to really maximize some of our marketing opportunities by having materials that are prepared already for us that can be customized, mailings that can be customized, all around a planned giving focus. And then, of course, the next strategy will be implementing face-to-face conversations with individuals. We'll be hosting workshops with professional advisors. One of the educational pieces that will be a part of our annual regional workshop will be helping our close to 300 volunteers understand how planned giving can be a really good option for individuals in their community that might want to be a part of a planned giving but maybe aren't able to do giving during their lifetime right now. And a neat thing that we're doing with our affiliate workshop this year is we're actually doing our workshop in 4 different ICN locations across our region. So we're excited about utilizing that new tool of sharing resources in a way that brings the trainings directly to those individual counties but yet gives everybody the opportunity to learn from other people. So that's pretty much the broad overview, I think, but along with all of that is a real comprehensive marketing plan with new materials and volunteer engagement, direct stakeholder conversations. All those things we feel like are going to really help us move forward in capturing future endowment dollars, both now and also upon people's death. So that's kind of a brief overview, and I know there's a lot of other speakers, and we'll have time for questions at the end, so I'm happy to share more at the end. Thank you, Carrie.
Great. Thank you, Kay. I did just want to highlight a couple of notes about the Community Foundation of Northeast Iowa's proposal specifically. On our website, we have a full list of grant guidelines for the Capacity Building Grant Program, and we share some examples of what capacity building projects might look like, and that includes some broad categories such as planning activities, board development and endowment growth, strategic relationships, internal operations, technology improvements, and professional development. And as the committee reviewed this proposal specifically, we really saw it touching on several of those areas, such as planning activities, board development, and strategic relationships. So as you're crafting your proposals, if you can think how your work might fall into maybe even more than one of those buckets, that'd be great to integrate into your proposal as well. So great job, Kay and team, on clearly articulating that in your proposal.
Thank you so much.
Next, I'd like to turn it over to Jenna Manders with the Community Foundation of Greater Dubuque.
Thanks, Carrie. We've also been extremely grateful for ICOF support through both capacity building and Connect grants over the past number of years. However, I wanted to touch on probably 3 of our past capacity building grants and really bringing multiple ideas and projects into one request. Since ICOF has really broadened their scope from funding just affiliate staffing to all areas of capacity building, we've really taken this opportunity to better support our affiliates and are pretty excited about some of the things we've done. So back in 2016, we have each of our affiliates have a part-time contract staff position. So one of the areas of the capacity building guidelines is professional development. So outside of the Connect conference that ICOF offers, we loaded up a couple vehicles and took all of our affiliate staff members along with some CFGD staff down to the Kansas conference, which is really about growing community foundations, and they have a nice rural aspect to their conference and community foundation focus with different tracks that our staff really enjoyed. And then also at that time, we had developed an affiliate learning circle. So similar to the Connect conference, we get our regional affiliate contractors and board members together. We try to do it either quarterly via call or a couple times a year in person. So those grants have helped us really with professional development and then internal operations and funding those staff. And as our affiliate assets have grown and they become self-sustainable in funding their staff, we've been able to use the past 2 years to pilot some new things specifically in the strategic relationship section. So last year, the Community Foundation participated in a cohort called Red Pin, and that looked at 2 of our affiliates, Jackson County and Dyersville area, and we were able to use a portion of the capacity building grant along with funding internal operations for staff in our non-gaming counties, but really to look at building strategic relationships in counties around child care. And I was just at a meeting yesterday, and they were discussing how other affiliates are interested in taking that model and expanding it into their region, but we found it's easier for us to pilot in communities and then expand that model. And then our current capacity building grant that we're working on, again with the strategic relationship section, we find that 2 of our most important strategic relationships are with professional advisors and nonprofits. So we're piloting a couple new programs. One is the monthly webinar series for professional advisors, and we had our first call in January. And even though we had hosted in Dubuque for that call, of our attendees, almost half of them were from our affiliates. So that was neat to see. And then we're also going to be looking at some live offerings and different offerings there. And then also a pilot version for our endowment building toolkit for our nonprofits. So a model that's a little bit easier for smaller nonprofits, maybe not with as large of development staff or as much time, to really still work on building their endowments and then growing their capacity. So that's what I have, and also happy to answer questions again later. But thank you for the opportunity.
Great. Thanks, Jenna. And again, just highlighting the variety of activities the Community Foundation of Greater Dubuque and their affiliates have been able to support through these grant dollars. It really demonstrates the wide range of things that you can accomplish. So thanks for sharing, Jenna. Next, I'd like to turn it over to Mary Freiborg with the Okoboji Community Foundation, which is an affiliate of the Community Foundation of Greater Des Moines. Mary?
Great. Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Carrie. Really appreciate this opportunity. We received a capacity building grant that really focused on 3 of our 5 make-or-break priorities, and those 3 were community engagement, our clarity of brand, and clear growth goals. And we did that focused on 2 different purposes that this grant would help us achieve, we hoped, and that would be to identify and engage emerging leaders in our Lakes community, and we identified those as 25 to 40-year-olds who could bring their ideas and their peer ideas to serve nonprofits in our Lakes community. And then the second purpose of our grant was to expand the visibility and the value and recognition of the Okoboji Foundation, serving as the center point of giving for other nonprofits in our family of funds. And so as far as what we actually accomplished, I'll kind of do it in those 2 different areas also. First of all, with the emerging leaders, that was very exciting to engage this group of leaders, and we did that through contacting our own donors and doing press releases and any other way we could think of to let people know that we were trying to get a group together. And we actually ended up with 25 emerging leaders who participated in one or all of 7 events that we facilitated. The first one was what we wanted to do kind of in a social, non-threatening way for them to get to know us and us to get to know them. So we held it at a local brewery, West O Beer, and that worked very well. If you have beer and wings, they did come. So that was great. That was on April 4th. And what we did there is we had a facilitator that has worked with this age group before, just do some facilitated, what do you like about the community, why are you here, what would you like to see, what do you see nonprofits doing that you like, what do you see us missing as a nonprofit community or just a community in general. And then we gave them a follow-up survey that they would all do individually, and that was all completed by May 1st. So we do have, and I turned it in with the grant at the end of our grant report, if anyone is interested, we do have that networking summary, and we also have the survey summary if any of you are trying to work with emerging leaders in your area and might find that valuable. The next step that we took, that was great, it was social, but we really wanted to really tie it to them learning about what a nonprofit does, and specifically our nonprofit and the ones that are in our family of funds. So we looked at how we could co-mentor using our older board members or even board members and volunteers that were in their age range, bringing them all together at events that we already hold each year. And the first of those would be in June. We have a large culinary event, and there is a kind of a major cost to attend. So we encouraged our board members or other repeat donors, if they purchased a sponsorship and had extra seats, to try to bring from their own family or their own network people that were in the emerging leader age range as their guests to this event. And then we also have an annual investors meeting in July, did the same thing. And then in August, we have a Legacy Society reception, invited emerging leaders to attend with our Legacy Society donors, which was really fun to see those groups together. And then basically we did get some really good input from the emerging leaders that they would really just like to know, okay, what is it like to be on a nonprofit board, and what do I need to know, and what are you really looking for? And Community Foundation of Greater Des Moines had a great board basics training that they had already put together and done in the Des Moines area, and they brought that here. and many of the emerging leaders participated in that in October, and then they also participated in our annual Lakes Nonprofit Summit that we have to bring any nonprofit, whether they're in our family of funds or not, together to just hear about some free training, the summer schedule of activities so that we are cooperating instead of, trying to work together and partner instead of compete with each other in our busy summer season here in Okoboji. So I would say that all of that was a great way for our board members and emerging leaders to get to know each other. The second part of what we did is really focusing on our visibility. So in that clarity of brand and clear growth goals, we used that large event that we have, and all of the sponsors were given GiveOkoboji.com bright blue flags that we asked them to fly on their docks and their businesses and their homes throughout the month of July for our July Nonprofit Challenge. And that challenge is specifically for us to help the other nonprofits that are in our family of funds build their own visibility and endowment resources. We started that last year, actually in 2016. So that very first year, we really were focused on those emerging leaders and doing online gifts so that any size gift counted and help your favorite nonprofit win. And the goal was that the nonprofit fund that raised the most money into their endowment fund, over $5,000, would win our $5,000 prize that we would put into their fund also. So we had a winner the first year. But last year, we focused on all gifts. We realized that we were probably not focused on our donors who had the largest amounts to give, and those are still our traditional older donors. So we counted not just online gifts this year, but any gift that was given. And the really cool thing was we had a donor who had been thinking about giving to one of our funds, Friends of Lakeside Lab, that does a lot of water testing and great things. She'd been thinking of doing that for several years. When she heard our press release that said, help your favorite win, she gave a $50,000 gift to Friends of Lakeside Lab in July so that they could win, and she also has a pledge for 2 more years. So thank you, because the marketing dollars that we got from this grant have made a ripple of good, is what we say, and it'll last for a long time with us and Lakeside Lab. So that is basically what we did. And if anyone has questions, again, happy to answer them after everyone is done. Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much, Mary. We get questions all the time about board turnover and really recruiting the next generation of leaders into the Community Foundation Network and advisory committee positions and board positions. So I think that's a really excellent example from the Okoboji Community Foundation of really engaging people within your mission in a variety of different events and strategies, and maybe even things that you're already doing that you can just strategically include them in. So love that example. And also, the challenge of the Giving Day or the Giving Challenge throughout the summer, and having seen that be successful at several other community foundations across the state, just another idea that we wanted to share with folks as they consider these opportunities. So thanks again, Mary. And now we'll turn it over to our final speaker, Sunny Swarbrick with the Story County Community Foundation, an affiliate of the Community Foundation of Greater Des Moines. Sunny?
Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for the opportunity for myself and Eileen to sit in on the call and really just share about the success that we've had with the organization and the incredible support that we've received from ICOF and your capacity building grant. ICOF has provided help to support our organization over the years as we've transitioned from what was a volunteer staff-run organization to one with professional staff, bringing us to where we're currently standing with one full-time executive director and a part-time staff, both paid. What I'm going to do is just go over the grants that we've received back through 2012 and just give a little bit of an overview of the support that the grants have provided funding for, and then we'll open it up to questions as well with everyone else. So again, we just want to take the opportunity to thank ICOF for the support that they provided through the capacity building grants over the last few years, which has really helped with our growth, both from providing sustainable operating support and just overall growth in general. Back in 2012, we received a grant for bridge financing to support a part-time development director. That was a position that was initially funded by a 3-year IMAP grant. And then in 2013, the capacity building grant that we received provided support to hire an affiliate coordinator, which brought on our second half-time position or part-time position with the organization. In 2014, we received a grant to help consolidate our finances in order to fund 2 full-time positions from our operating budget moving forward from that year. And then in 2015, the capacity building grant that we received helped provide support to transitioning from employees versus independent contractors, as well as providing market and merit support relating to market and merit adjustments to pay as that relates to payroll taxes, retirement benefits, and then again, just supporting salary for both of our staff members at the time. And then in 2016, the ICOS grant that we received provided support to educate our staff and enhance our awareness in the community about the Story County Community Foundation. And finally, our most recent grant was what really helped elevate the organization to bring on my position as the first full-time paid executive director. And the grant that we received has helped provide support to hire a search firm for the advisory board and Jennifer at the time to equip them with the resources to search for the qualified candidates that they brought on, provide professional support as well, professional development support, provide support relating to technology. So as we brought on my role, expanding our technology relating to computer costs and phone costs in the office, and then marketing support as well with the position, and providing support for the salary for the position as well. So it's been exciting as we've come on as ICON, and transitioned into this role. And I will say that we, again, are so thankful for the support as we've continued to build our organization. We have grown tremendously from when we had our first paid part-time staff in 2010. And because of the support that we've had, our assets have more than quadrupled and our number of funds have more than doubled. So the support that we received last year will continue to provide support to having a full-time staff to continue to elevate our mission and our presence in Story County and the communities that we're serving.
Great.
And that. Yes, you're welcome.
We've really seen over the years these capacity building grant dollars be really transformative for the Story County Community Foundation, and they have strategically leveraged those funds, as Sunny illustrated, to transition consultants into part-time positions and now build their capacity for this full-time executive director position. In addition to that, and alongside all that work, they've also been laser focused on their development goals. And Jennifer Garst, who was with the Community Foundation before Sunny was hired, has always been so gracious in sharing their development plans and their goals with us as examples to share out with others. So again, I know this topic of really growing staff capacity is of interest to many community foundations. So if you listen to that and would like some more information, please reach out to us, or I'm sure you can reach out to Sunny directly to access some of those materials to really see the plan that they mapped out to get them to where they are today. So thanks so much for sharing, Sunny, and to all of our speakers. Let's go ahead and open it up to any questions from folks on the call. Just a reminder to make sure you unmute.
Carrie, this is Michelle Wallstrom with the Iowa Council of Foundations. I have a question. I guess I would start with Jenna, but would welcome any other comments from any of the speakers as well. But just wondering, Jenna, how do you collaborate with your affiliates who want to seek funding directly for their affiliates, so not at your host level? Like, do the affiliates contact you and say, hey, we're interested in crafting a grant? Do you work with them on it, or do you go to your affiliates individually and say, you should apply for this funding? Just wondering about your process and how that works.
Mm-hmm. I would say each of our affiliates are in a different place, and it really depends on the place those affiliates are in. So we have probably 3 staff primarily that MJ is our director of our northern affiliate. Mary Jo works specifically with Jackson County, and then Amy's working with Jones and both the foundations in Clinton County. And I would say we always offer the technical support. We're happy to help walk through grant proposals, hoping to build the capacity that local staffer or the board members are writing the proposal. But oftentimes I review proposals. But we also have affiliates who take it upon themselves and write their grants and submit them, and we encourage that as well. So pretty much any level of support that they would like.
Okay, yeah, that's helpful. Mary, how do you do it with the Community Foundation of Greater Des Moines or Sunny as well? Do you decide on your own what you want to submit funding for, or do you contact Joe and work with him?
This is Mary. In our case, Joe just reminded us that this was a great opportunity, and he knew we were working on building that Emerging Leaders program and suggested it. So we worked together with him to get the grant done.
And this is Sunny with Story County. We, as a staff, do decide how we want to fill out the application and what we want it to focus on, but do consult with Joe and have him review the final application before we submit it as well.
And this is Kay. I mean, ours is kind of a combination of all those things, too, as we're aware of affiliates that are working on specific projects. We help remind and suggest that they're good options, and then we also will help coach and prove and add any other, ideas that might be helpful.
Yeah, thanks, Kay. Go ahead.
This is Merlin Helmer in southeast Iowa, and I'm new at this grant building thing, and I'm not familiar with what you mean by grant building grants or capacity building grants, and I'm wondering what the source of the funds are for those grants.
Sure, I can take that one. So the funding for these grants specifically is part of the Iowa Community Foundation's initiative, and the Iowa Council of Foundations each year receives funding to help support the marketing and administration of the County Endowment Fund program and the Endow Iowa Tax Credit program. In addition, a portion of those funds are to be used to support the capacity building efforts and also the endowment building efforts of all the community foundations across the state. So it's a portion of that contract that we receive from the state that's funneled back down into community foundations through these grant-making programs. So that's where the money is coming from. Happy to chat offline with you a little bit more about what we mean when we say capacity building, and would also reference, again, the grant guidelines that are on the Iowa Council of Foundations website. There's additional detail there around what we mean when we say capacity building and what types of activities would fall into this grant program. Does that help?
We are a member of the council, and what I'm getting from that is that we can get help that we need from them.
Yep, the grants are available through the Iowa Council of Foundations. So if you have any additional questions, feel free to send me a note or we can connect offline.
Right. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Any other questions this morning?
Hi. Yes, hi. This is Lisa Stahula from the Community Foundation of the Great River Bend. Hello.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi. I have I'm clear on the different categories that the capacity building grants support. What I was wondering is, are there any specific ineligible expenses associated with these grants that we should be aware of?
Again, I would just reference the grant guidelines. We've tried to be as specific as possible in there. There is a section in there that says that there are limitations as far as the amount you can request. But typically we have funded anything that falls into this capacity building grant program. If you have a question about something specifically, we're certainly happy to talk about that through the pre-application process and, discuss it sort of on a case-by-case basis. But it should be pretty clearly articulated in the guidelines what's eligible for funding.
Okay, so what I've learned by listening to the past grantees speak is that staff expenses associated with staff time or even outside consultants would be eligible. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. In the past, that had been a primary focus of this grant program, but we have expanded it to include other types of activities as well. And one thing we were seeing is community foundations sort of starting to depend on this funding to support their staff capacity. So if you are applying for that type of support, we really encourage you to talk about your sustainability plan for those positions and how leveraging these funds will help you create sort of long-term solutions for funding that position in the future. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes perfect sense. Thank you. And then in terms of projects involving technology, a lot of that obviously requires ongoing expenses, which I'm assuming would not be eligible. However, if there's a project that involves like a one-time startup fee, would that be eligible?
Yep. Yes, IT capacity upgrades, including hardware and software, networking, website development, and even staff training on how to really optimize the use of that technology are all eligible through this. And again, it's really articulating how it grows the capacity of the organization to grow endowments and meet their mission.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yep, good questions, Lisa. Thanks.
Sure.
Okay, one last call for questions.
This is Jenna from Greater Dubuque again. I would say also one thing that's very helpful about the capacity building grants, this isn't a question, is the pre-application. And when you submit the pre-application, both Michelle and Carrie are really great about giving you feedback on what they're looking for in the application and what might make it stronger. So I would say there's a lot of feedback during that process, and it's greatly appreciated.
Great. Thanks, Jenna. And, one thing that's really helpful is we get to see all of the proposals that come in and have been involved in this work for several years now. So we have lots of examples that we can pull ideas from to share with you to really strengthen and enhance your proposals as well. So that's the whole intent of that pre-application process, is to really get everyone to the strongest proposal possible before that full submission. So thanks for sharing that, Jenna. Thanks again to all of our speakers today, Kay, Jenna, Mary, and Sunny, and for sharing your grant success stories with us and ideas for potential funding opportunities. As a reminder, that Spring Capacity Building Grant Program is now open with pre-applications available on the ICOP website. And I also did just want to let folks know that we have set a date for the Connect Conference, which is September 18th of this year. We're already in 2018, next fall. And that will be at the Hilton Garden Inn in Johnston. So please keep an eye out in the CS Snapshot e-newsletter for more information coming up on that. And in addition, we'll release some information about our next peer learning call in the March CS Snapshot e-newsletter. So thanks again for joining us, everyone, and we hope you found this valuable and look forward to reviewing your pre-applications and proposals. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.